It was a special evening. Almost all presidential candidates came to the studio of TV Republika, sometimes known as the home of free speech. Almost 3 hours of substantive conversation about Poland. Regardless of the views, each candidate had an equal chance. The presidential debate is an integral part of an election campaign. Since TV Republika is the largest news station in Poland, it was our duty to organise such a political clash. A few hours before the start of the debate, supporters of each candidate began to gather in front of our TV headquarters. Emotions grew outside, but also inside, where more candidates appeared. Our state-of-the-art studio, financed with your help, was ready, and we began a little after 8 p.m. in full swing, well, almost. For this debate, we also invited Ms. Magdalena Bayat, who represents the left, Mr. Rafał Trzaskowski, who is a candidate of the Civic Platform. We renewed these invitations, but the candidates did not express a desire to participate in our debate.
Ale kandydaci nie wyrazili chęci udziału w naszej debacie.
The debate consisted of several rounds. Initially, the candidates answered questions from the presenter. Are you in favour of Poland starting to prepare for the introduction of the euro? Then they faced questions from viewers who had previously won an online poll. How many genders are there? What changes in the electoral law and the referendum law would be beneficial for greater citizen participation in public life? But the most emotional part of the debate was the questions posed by the candidates to other candidates. You will not be able to distance yourself from it if you are signing this coalition agreement. You are Tusk's coalition partner, and please do not hide this from the Polish people any longer. I was just thinking that you will probably try to cover up your ineptitude and recitation of formulas with some gadgets, so I have such a special bag here for gadgets from the counter-candidates. If any of you would still like, I am, of course, open. There was a clash between Karol Nawrocki and Szymon Hołownia. The Citizens' presidential candidate asked the Marshal of the Sejm about unflattering words said about him on the air of the illegally seized public media. And that TV station called you, Mr. Marshal, a political plankton and a third-rate candidate. I simply ask, how does Mr. Marshal feel about that? You know, I have already heard everything about myself, and from the mouths of your supporters and from the mouths of the Strong Together. But about government television, I ask. I understand. The whole thing was topped off with statements from all the candidates. We must reject Donald Tusk's government and not allow Rafał Trzaskowski's clumsy tussle to the presidential palace to give him any chance of victory. Remember that on the 18th of May, we all go to the polls as one. In the first round, we vote with our hearts. In the second round, with our minds. And there is no good enough excuse that your head hurts or your finger hurts. We go to vote, because we go to vote whether Poland will be or will not be. And at the very end, there was a shaking of hands, everyone with everyone across the divide, an expression of respect and a symbol of peace. The participants in the debate represented the entire range of political views. Each candidate had an equal opportunity to reach out to potential voters. The rules were clear and transparent. No one invited the candidates less than 2 hours before the event, unlike Rafał Trzaskowski's staff. Please see what happened at the end. They all shook hands with each other, and despite the fact that, after all, they are fighting each other for the position of president, for positions in the political market, but also for certain ideas which are often mutually exclusive, they were able to walk out of here in harmony. Why? Because it was a debate on rationale. It wasn't about emotions. It wasn't about who takes down whom. What is most important to us is the opinion of you, our viewers. That is why we are so happy that our debate was so eagerly watched and that you have such a good opinion about it. How did you like it? Very much. Admittedly, well, there was the lack of Mr. Trzaskowski and Ms. Bayat, of course, but that's hard. They're to blame themselves. I liked it. It was calm and cultured. It was conducted wonderfully by Kasia Gojska. And that's what it's all about, that everything should be so calm and cultured. I watched it. And how did you like it? Very good. A+. Of course I watched it. And how did you like it? Very much, because Kasia leads very well. I'm a fan of TV Republika in general. The debate was on such terms as one would hope for on the main TV stations, that is, surprisingly well. But of course one could expect much more. In fact, it is worth recognising here that each candidate had time and a chance to speak about their programmes, their ideas. In an era of rampant hatred and war of Polish people on Polish people, a normal civilised debate, without questions arranged for one candidate, is a breath of hope. The winner was freedom of speech, freedom of debate. Who did the best? In my opinion, those who came here, because it was already evident from the previous debate in Końskie that absence takes away support. The next presidential debate organised by TV Republika will be on the 9th of May. The organisers promise that it will be different from all previous ones, but the time will come for the details.